Hello, everybody. What is this? Runescape Dragonwilds? I haven't played at all. I just agreed to some agreements, and here we are. I just wanted to, break away from the guide by example and kind of do first impressions of this game here, as I've been looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of people have. I think we should just go ahead and create a character. But I guess, first, I need some coffee. Okay, yes, I am making a coffee, but I'm so excited that we're just going to create a character. Obviously, MrfMrf. I mean, can I be Miku? Is that a thing? No, this is pretty minimal. Okay, so my thoughts from that is this is a pretty simple character editor, but whatever. I'm sure I look like I have the default outfit from RuneScape itself, like I'm a bot or something. So that's really interesting. Okay, so we have our character. I really have no idea what to expect here. But we're gonna go ahead and start a world. I mean, we'll just go recent, create world, play solo. Best.
Among them, an elite band of explorers, some of Gilliner's finest. They were bound for uncharted waters in pursuit of a legend. Ashenfall. Had only they known the danger. Dragons, winged death descended from the skies. Blades were drawn and spells cast, but the dragons rained ruin. And so they vanished into the wild. They adapted, endured, wielded magic, sharp as steel, wits keen as arrows, always searching for a way to call for aid. And at last, they found it. The heroes are on their way, and the dragons, they'll never see it coming.
Man, that was loud as fuck. Immediately I'm going into the audio settings, dog. This is loud as fuck. Jeez. The world of Dragonwilds. This is me in post. I messed up some audio during the recording, so I'm going to give my thoughts as we go through the game here. Right as you enter the world, you're greeted by Wise Old Man, where he will teach you through a tutorial. Of course, you can skip this tutorial. The first thing I noticed about this game were all the meters. You have a health bar, a stamina bar, a hydration bar, a food bar, and then a strength bar, which I'm not entirely sure what that does. I mean, stamina is kind of self-explanatory. Every time you swing something or run, you waste stamina. This recovers, pretty quickly. You have your health, pretty self-explanatory. Hydration is interesting. As you're going to see here, I'm going to go up to a pond and grab dirty water. And when I drink it, it gives me a toxicity meter, which is very interesting. I'm not sure how that plays into this game, but I would imagine if you drink too much dirty water, you could start losing HP or something. But a little bit of foreshadowing, hydration is very important And this guy is going to show us how we, make clean water from dirty water. For the life of me, I could not figure out what to do here. I was digging around the menus, could not figure it out, but what I needed to do was create a crafting bench and a campfire in order to clean my water so it's safe to drink. So we're going to come back to Doric, and he's going to tell us we need sticks and stones. You need that for basically crafting a lot of the starting tools and basic structures to get started. It's all over the map, but once you begin to create tools, which you'll see later, you can chop down trees and mine stone, which seems like it's more efficient than just running around and picking stuff up. My thoughts at this current moment of the playthrough was that this doesn't really feel like a RuneScape game. It kind of feels more survival-y. And what I mean by that is something like Minecraft, where the world isn't procedurally generated. Something kind of like Pal World without the pals. It feels mostly like I'm just trying to survive, and I'm really curious to get to the bits where it feels more like a RuneScape experience. At this point, I'm still very confused, and I need to make a stone club and clean my water. This part absolutely scared the crap out of me. A Kebbit came up to me and started attacking me, and I have no weapon as I was going to craft my club. Combat's pretty interesting. It's really simple. You just kind of hold down the button and look at your stamina. I'm hoping they expand more on the combat. As of right now, all I have in my head that it's just a single button that you press to do it. But as we get deeper into this video, you'll see that things like skilling have multiple actions that can really increase the complexity of what you're doing. We're heading over to Vinaka, and I'm just praying that I get a Slayer task. But no, in all seriousness, this game, it's really pretty. Coming from something like OSRS, this game is absolutely stunning. We arrived at Vinaka, and I kind of got my wish. He gave us a Slayer task of a couple rats in order to get rat meat so we can cook it and turn it into food. With this food, we can then eat it and replenish our saturation meter, and I think maybe even health? As I kill these rats, it totally dawned on me that I feel like I'm just playing a 3D RuneScape. These level up messages are happening as I'm doing basic things, and it just really feels like I'm playing the beginning of RuneScape, but in a 3D environment. This game is entirely too loud, but it really just feels like 3D RuneScape. So I'm going to fast forward through this part. I am just collecting rat meat from the rats. You need 2 rat meat in order to make it into food, and I didn't realize this and only collected 3 rat meat. I ran all the way back to where my campfire was, tried to cook 2, only made 1, had to run all the way back to the rats, got my rat meat, and I came back, and now I'm going to cook it, and it'll all be good, and we can move on to the next segment of the tutorial. The sheer pain that I felt at this moment, I had to run all the way back. After my travels with Vinaka, I kept running into these odd rifts, which I was unsure what they were for, but later we'll see what those are for. By later, I mean right now. Zonik is going to explain it to us and help us after we collect him 50 logs. So this was my first interaction with skilling, like woodcutting, and it's honestly so interesting. As you swing your axe against the trees fall, and they drop wood, and then you have to continually log until the tree breaks up into small pieces. It's like you're truly chopping a tree, but you're gaining XP like it's RuneScape, and it feels right. I'm very excited to try this game with friends. I heard you can do up to 4-player co-op, which 4 players in one of these worlds could be so interesting. Something I was a little disappointed about when chopping down a tree is you don't get as many logs as you really think you should get. I think from this one tree I end up getting something like 20 or 30 logs. And it also takes quite a while with the stamina meter. You have to wait till it fully depletes and also wait a period of time for it to even begin to regenerate, which is it's pretty interesting. I wonder if you level up these skills, the stamina cost gets lower, or maybe even the stamina regeneration gets better. Here I'm utilizing a different button in order to do a different action on this tree. It does a little bit more damage, and that'll just help take care of this tree faster. You can also see I try to chop down a different tree, which tells me I do not have the skill level required to do that. Very RuneScapey, as you know, there are many level requirements when you try to do things in RuneScape, so I'm glad it carried over into this game. I collected way more wood than I needed in order to make a pickaxe. I figured at some point I need to mine stone too. But as I finished this quest, Zanuck gave me a pickaxe, and now he's going to teach us about how to do rune crafting and magic. I was starting to get very nervous at this point because I started to realize that my hydration meter was low, and all I had was 2 things of unclean water that's going to turn into 1. So I'm just going to continue forward with the magic quest, and all we're going to do is head over to this rift and begin to mine essence. With this essence and stone, we can create an altar, and finally with that altar, we'll be able to turn our essence into runes that will allow us to cast a magic spell. So here's my altar. Go ahead and place that down. I'm going to fast forward through the rest of this where I actually create the runes, but with these runes we're able to cast magic spells. So I'm about to cast my first spell, which is really cool. You summon an astral axe and you get to throw it at any tree to immediately fell it. It seems so cool, and I've noticed that as you level up your skills, you unlock more spells dealing with that skill. So I can only imagine how massive this game is with the amount of magic that's in the game. Magic spells do go on cooldown though, so they are not infinitely spammable. But as you can see here, I did gain XP from felling that tree with the astral axe. So here are the skills menu. As you can see, there's only about 9 skills in the game, which seems relatively small compared to RuneScape. But every time I click on one of these skills, you can see that it levels up and unlocks something along the way. So when I click on attack or woodcutting, you can see that my stamina usage will go down by 1% for every level, and then every 10 levels we get some super skill, if you want to call it that. But this is super interesting, and now that we're in early access, we could expect that more skills do get added in the game that are in line with that RuneScape schema. Remember how I said at the beginning of the video that hydration is an issue? Well, as I started my last quest with the Wise Old Man where I need to pick a base to start up, I realized my hydration was extremely low and I had no water. So I'm going to let you watch this extreme blunder of me jumping off into an ocean and unaliving myself. I did not know that there were bounds to the world. I thought I could jump into this ocean and collect water. However, I was severely mistaken. And yes, you do lose absolutely everything on death. It seems like I kept a few air runes, but that's about it. Well, that's where I'm going to end this first look. Thank you for coming along and checking out the small tutorial and listening to me rant about, what's happening on screen. Personally, I think this is a really cool game. I love the fact that it's going to be a co-op experience, and it also mimics RuneScape, which RuneScape's one of my favorite games. I'm excited to see where this goes throughout early access, but with what they've shown now, it truthfully feels like a 3D RuneScape survival game, and I'm really excited to try it with friends. But with all that being said, if you liked, go ahead and leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you want to see more Dragonwilds content, I'd love to post it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.